we're now going to talk about the muscles that aid in breathing. So in order to do that, we're actually going to have to remove quite a few layers of muscles. So I'm going to start removing a couple layers. We are now able to see our first set of muscles. So we are going to talk about the external intercostal muscles. So these are going to be on both sides. And there are these muscles that are actually in between the ribs. So they're going to have an origin on the inferior border of the rib above, okay, and are going to insert on the superior border of the rib above. Okay, they are going to kind of be this outer layer that is going to help kind of pull the ribs toward one another to elevate the rib cage, and this is going to help aid in inspiration. So our next layer, we're actually going to remove one more layer of muscle. And it may look like we still have our external intercostals, but I've actually removed the intercostal layer, the external intercostal, and now we have what we call the internal intercostal. So let me quickly kind of put back on that layer. So there are the external intercostals, okay, and then I'm going to remove that layer, and we now have the internal intercostals. Okay, the internal intercostals are going to originate on the superior border of the rib below, and I'm going to insert on the inferior border of the rib above. Okay, these are going to draw the ribs together to depress the rib cage, okay, and they're going to actually aid in expiration, so when you're actually breathing out. The last muscle that we're going to talk about is going to be the diaphragm. And you can kind of see the diaphragm highlighted, but I'm going to remove a couple more layers. Okay, and here is the diaphragm. So the diaphragm is this muscle that is going to sit beneath the lungs and is going to aid in inspiration. So when the muscle contracts, it's going to then kind of cause the area where the lungs are in to expand, which then allows air to flow into the lungs, and that's kind of when we have our breath in. And then when they go back to relaxed state, it will then push back up onto the lungs and will cause for the breath to leave the lungs. Okay, so expiration. I can kind of see here all by itself. It's going to kind of sit right down here